My name's on campaign. If you're a fan of these videos, 2 things. First of all, thank you. You should probably subscribe if you haven't already. And second of all, you might be wondering where I've been.
How rude.
Well, I'm back and
Say it.
it's time I made a build video. Don't worry, I don't think I'll be making very many of these. Ha! There are other Tenno out there with bigger and better arsenals at their disposals and brainpower made for theory crafting so far ahead, I'd need a personal cephalon to even begin approaching their quality. For that reason, my primary concern has always been with meme builds. This is a meme build video. It starts with Mirage. Mirage is one of my favorite frames, not just because of her ridiculous firepower and the ability to turn basically any limp noodle armament into a Doom Guy level beefstick, but because she's one of the only frames in the game that has its own system requirements. The clones from her Hall of Mirrors will fire their own shots, multiplying the number of projectiles downrange, and her Eclipse can boost weapon damage from normal to filthy. Like a weapon that spits out particle-spewing projectiles and give it to Mirage, you get fireworks, and your GPU's fans will loudly scorn your name. For the purpose of this build, that weapon is the Quanta Vandal. It's a gun that's always been great, especially for Volts when his shields gave infinite range to beam weapons. But chances are you haven't dusted this thing off in at least 2 years, if at all. So, here's a quick summary on what it does. It has a long range for a beam weapon, it has a high fire rate, good crit chance on its primary fire, and great status chance overall. It reloads quickly, and it has a fun, powerful, and more importantly, funny alt-fire mode. In case you don't already know, the Quanta Vandal can laugh out these unstable energy cubes that will detonate for respectable damage after some time passes, or when contacting the Quanta Vandal's beam or enemy faces. For this reason, I secretly call the Quanta Vandal my haha gun. Just like a good laugh, it's loud and lights up a room, and if you use it right, everyone will be on the floor rolling. There's only one problem. Its alt-fire uses up 10 ammo per shot out of a stock 80 magazine. That's why I'll be using Energized Munitions, a Helminth ability I generally dislike for its incredibly short base duration of 5 seconds. But with a Quanta Vandal in the hands of Mirage, we can make sure those precious seconds are as potent and spectacular as can be. So get your hands on a Mirage and build for as much duration as you can, with some strength sprinkled on top. For your Quanta Vandal, start a Nuke config and name it something memey like Nuke Cubes or Quanta Quake. You'll be building for status and raw damage. Vile precision is necessary for maximum cube spam. No ribbons required. Now, when fully modded, the Quanta Vandal will typically cough up 2 cubes per shot. Wielded by any other frame, you can expect to dish out around 16 cubes per magazine. With a basic Mirage, you can expect about 48 cubes before reloading. Now, with a Mirage kitted with Energized Munitions and a rapid trigger finger, you can saturate a room with approximately 240 cubes per magazine. The damage per second is a number I cannot successfully calculate, but I'm pretty sure a few of the hits registered as enough instead of a number. Put simply, it's hilarious. If you're like me, hilarity is the only result that matters when it comes to a build, and with this one you'll be cackling like a lunatic all the way to extraction. All you need to do is hit 1, 2, 3, and abuse your alt-fire button for 10 to 15 seconds. Don't bother with triggering the cubes with the Quanta Vandal's beam. Just catapult cube after cube directly into whichever mob happens to wander into view. It's pretty good. So, why do this video now after the Helminth system has been out for so long? Well, partially because No Nut November is over and this build is busted, but mostly because I wanted to see what changes might be made to Energized Munitions for better or for worse before I committed to any time. It's been about 3 months as of this broadcast. So far, there have been none. So it's safe to say we're not seeing any changes anytime soon and you can safely enjoy this nonsense. But there's one more reason for this video, a reason so close to my heart I might just struggle through its explanation, and the best way to explain it is through a question. Why can I fire explosive murder cubes at point-blank range and barely feel the breeze when my Staticor slaps my synthetic body to the floor like a weeble that's lost its wobble? Just look at this. As of this video, it's been about 8 months since self-damage was removed in favor of self-stagger. Along with that change, a number of weapons that didn't cause self-damage gained self-stagger as well. Weapons affected by this change were Quanta Opticor Vandal, Staticor, Simulor, Cyanoid Simulor, Ferox, Astilla, Shedu, Kuvasir, Cynex, Tombfinger, Granmu Prism, Exard Scaffold, and of course, the Staticor. Now, most of these weapons have fallen into obscurity at one point or another, Staticor included. and most of them have excellent range or tight blast radii, precluding you from ever interacting with self-stagger in any meaningful way. Then there's the Staticor, a projectile weapon with long travel time, a large blast radius, and effective range of mid to close quarters, also known as Stagger Town. It still works, sure, it's still relatively good, but as a Mastery Rank 10 weapon, you've already have access to the Atomos unlocked in Mastery Rank 6, which fills a similar role more easily. If you're past Mastery Rank 10, well, then you probably already have your best in slot, and that old Staticor is long laid to rest. But for me, it's been about 8 months, and I still don't know how to move on. It was a slept-on weapon to begin with, inoffensive in its popularity, peerless in its ability to Hadouken with the best of them. One day, I hope to return to a Ryu-esque power fantasy, but for now, we are Dan. Alas, poor Staticor, I knew it well. A weapon of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. It hath borne me on its back 1,000 times, and now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. Or, you could just use a Quanta Vandal with Mirage and say to hell with the status quo, I'm fucking shaking.